Hello, and welcome to the February 2019 channel update. I'm BringItDon, and I'll follow the same formula I have in the past for my other channel updates, current content, future content, and then I'm going to touch on some news, and then I'm going to put my shameless plug at the end. So currently I am playing Atom RPG, post-apocalyptic indie game. I'm also playing the Temple of Elemental Evil. I'm also trying to get the rest of the DLC for Metro Last Light pushed out, hopefully before February 15th, because that's going to take us directly into our future content. Metro Exodus comes out February 15th, and when that comes out, I will be covering that game. And with the Metro Exodus, it's going to take me directly into the news that I want to cover regarding Metro Exodus. So I will be playing Metro Exodus on the Steam version of the game. I pre-ordered the game on January 28th, the last day that it was available on Steam, before Epic Games purchased exclusivity rights for the first year from Deep Silver for Metro Exodus. So Metro Exodus is published by Deep Silver. They're the publisher that made the agreement with Epic Games. 4A Games is the developer. No one knows what say they had in this arrangement or this deal. They're just the developers. So I'm probably not going to mention them anymore throughout the rest of this small rant. I don't have it organized, so if it's a little incoherent, a little chopped up, that's why. So in case, for those of you who don't know, who don't keep up with gaming news, because it has been everywhere, Epic Games Store purchased exclusivity rights from Deep Silver for Metro Exodus's launch for the first year. It won't be available on Steam until February 14th, 2020, according to their FAQ. I'll have a link to the FAQ if you're interested beneath the video, so you look at it yourselves. A lot of what I'm going to be stating is speculation, is opinionated. All the information that we have confirmed is in the FAQ. So I personally don't like Epic Games Store. A lot of people don't, as you can tell by the outrage from the Metro Exodus exclusivity deal. I don't like it. My biggest grievance is that it doesn't have an offline mode. If you're not connected to the internet, you can't access your games and you can't play single player. That is a huge turnoff. I have Comcast. If you aren't familiar with Comcast, Comcast is notorious for monopolizing areas that they have provide service, and they charge obscene amounts of money for their services. And on top of that, they don't improve their infrastructure. They have all this money, but they don't improve their infrastructure. I don't know what they're doing with all this money. They're just like saving it and hoarding it up, because my internet's guaranteed to go out at least once a week, from anywhere from half an hour. Not a big deal because I'm probably in bed at that time. But one day it was out for 12 hours. We get in touch with them. They say, "Oh, we don't have any outages. It must be on your end," but it wasn't on our end. They fixed something and it came back. So that was obnoxious. So if I don't have internet connectivity, I can't play my games on Epic Games Store. Plus, I already have 4 launchers technically. It's actually 3, but if you include Microsoft Store, then I have 4 because I have 1 game on Microsoft Store. I have Steam, I have Origin, I have GOG. Origin only has 3 games on it. Steam is most of my library. And GOG, I love GOG. Basically any games I can't find on Steam because they're really old. They're on goodoldgames.com. So I have a modest library on GOG. Plus GOG is really good if you're interested in older games that don't, and Steam doesn't care if they run on your system. GOG does a really good job of making sure the games that they sell run on modern systems. So like for most people, if you play Fallout 3 or familiar with Steam's version of Fallout 3, you have to go in and you have to fix a couple things for it to run without crashing. GOG's version does not crash. It's already has everything implemented that it needs to run on multi-core processors and all that jazz. So in my opinion, what's happening is Epic Games is... Because in case y'all didn't know or remember, Fortnite was like an overnight success. Like one day it's like, oh, Fortnite's out, the beta's free to play, yada yada, and then boom, it was Fortnite. It was, we know it today, the next day. Epic Games is used to immediate success, immediate overwhelming success. And honestly, without Fortnite, I don't think we'd have the Epic Games Store right now, because they saw such great success from it, and they're using their Fortnite money to pay for all these exclusivity deals, which is fine. I think Steam needs competition. When I heard Steam charge developers 30% of their sale for their games on their platform, that blew my mind. 30% is ridiculous. I mean, they've since changed it now. Like the more you make, the lower it is. I think at 10 million in sales, it drops down to 25%, and then 14 or 15 million in sales, it drops down to 20%, and so on and so forth. But that's not fair to smaller developers because they're not going to make that much money. So I do think Steam needs to work on that. I think developers should make more money. Again, that blew my mind. 30% is a crazy number. But again, back to the Epic and their immediate need for success. I think they think that buying all these exclusivity deals are going to guarantee that success. Again, they're just throwing their money around. They're throwing money to compete, which is one way to compete with Steam. Steam is a huge platform, and how do you beat Steam? You offer something Steam doesn't have. Well, Steam has everything. Well, if you start buying things up before Steam has it, then you have it and Steam doesn't. I get the reasoning, but their platform is still subpar compared, because even GOG has forums and reviews and everything. Steam is this platform that's been developing for years and years. Like it has so many tools available that no other platform has, which is crazy to me. How if you're going to create a store and try and compete with Steam, how you don't just implement all of those tools. GOG has none of them. Offline mode being the biggest one. They don't have user reviews. The refund policy is now a copy paste of Steam's. Before it was not, but they'll still deny you your refunds even if you don't meet the requirements. Unlike Steam, Steam will almost always no questions asked. I mean, it might take a couple days, but they'll always refund your stuff if you meet the requirements. There's a whole list of stuff online. You could easily find it. There's actually, I think there's a website that compares all the clients like Steam and GOG, Epic Game Store. I don't like the idea. So Steam doesn't force exclusivity on anybody, at least not that I've ever heard of. And one of the perks of being on Steam is the advertising, the marketplace. You post a game on Steam, and people are going to start seeing if people that wouldn't normally find your game would see it on Steam under like recommended games. I found tons of games that I love that I would have never found otherwise if it weren't for recommended games on Steam. So when you put your game on Steam, not only are you selling it on that platform, you're also getting the marketing that Steam provides. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh yeah, they don't force the exclusivity on anybody. So what happens is you can advertise your game on Steam and then sell it on other sites. You can sell it somewhere else for full price. You can sell it on your own website for full price. And Steam won't care. They won't bat an eye. Where Epic Game Store, they're holding these games hostage, forcing people to download their client. It's like, if you don't buy it here, you can't buy it anywhere. Now, I don't remember if I covered this. Epic Game Store is selling Metro Exodus for $10 cheaper than what was available in the Steam version. It was $59.99 on Steam. It's $49.99 on Epic Game Store, but only in the United States, to my understanding. I think, and they're marketing that as, oh hey, we get a bigger cut of the money, so we can sell the game for cheaper. That's bullcrap. Games have been $60 for like 10 years now. I think what happened was Epic Games gave them a large sum of money in order to advertise their game as $10 cheaper on their client. And I think that's a little scummy because they weren't upfront about it. And they're trying to say, oh, because we make more from this, we can sell it for cheaper. No, I mean, you might make more because Epic Games gave you a crap ton of money, but it's not because you get a bigger cut. Because they're still trying to make money. They wouldn't just drop it $10, willy-nilly. They'd still want a bigger cut of the $60. They wouldn't want a bigger cut of the $50. They want that $60 price. Plus, then you have people like me. I'm very OCD when it comes to my collections. Like if I have a single book in a series, like if y'all are familiar with the Horus Heresy series or any Warhammer 40k series, if I have one book from that series, I have to have all of them. If I have one game in a series, I have to have all of them. It's how I am. If the game is available and I don't have it, it'll affect my sleep and everything. It's awful. It got me into a lot of trouble with the skins in League of Legends, if y'all are familiar with those. Luckily, I've broken that habit. That took a lot of work, though. So, and then they know that most of their Metro fans on PC, well, all of them, essentially, are have their games into the Steam library, and they're trying to have people split their library in two, because everyone has Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light in their Steam library, because that's where it's been for the past 5 years. And then they're like, oh, well, you have to download this new client and put your game here. And then if you want to have a complete library, you have to rebuy those games on the Epic Games Store, which I don't know if they're going to transfer it there or not, or if it's just going to be Exodus on the Epic Games Store. I don't know. I don't like what happened. I feel like Deep Silver pulled the rug out from underneath their customers. Oh yeah, not to mention their physical copied pre-orders. Some people ordered the physical copies, like the special collector's editions and things like that, the physical copies, and it was advertised they were getting Steam keys. Well, now they're getting their Epic Games keys instead. Like they got duped as well. So I'm not a big fan of that. Like it would have been one thing if they had been upfront, because there's no way that like this happened overnight. There had to have been discussions for months at least, and like, oh hey, we're gonna probably move the game to this platform. Give your fans a heads up. That's all you got to do. They may have kept it hush hush because they wanted to make more sales on the Epic Games Store, so people wouldn't pre-order on Steam immediately. Because as soon as I found out, I pre-ordered it on Steam, because Steam said later today it's coming off of our store. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna snatch it up real quick. So I snatched it up. So maybe they kept it hush hush so that, because they did it like 3 days before people get paid, because people get paid on like the 1st and the 15th. At least government workers do. And then people that get paid every 2 weeks, it's probably at the beginning of the month and the end of the month. And so they probably did it then. So it's like, oh, you can't pre-order it now because you're waiting for your next paycheck. You're going to have to pre-order it on the Epic Games Store. I'm not happy with what took place. But I'm a huge Metro fan, so I'm getting it all out here, so I don't have to talk about it during the Let's Play. I'll probably briefly mention it at the beginning of the Let's Play. But my Let's Plays like to be focused more on the game, less on news or things surrounding the game. I want it to be the pure experience. That's why I have like a face cam and stuff. The Let's Play is there for the game. And my sweet commentary. So anyway, that's enough about that. I probably have more to say. If I sit here and think about it, I'll come up with more to say, I'm sure. Just know that I am not happy about it, but it's not a big deal. I got the game for Steam, so it doesn't actually affect me. So yeah, anyway, my Patreon is up. I did start my Patreon, I think it was last month. It may have been this month. No, it was last month. Yeah, it was in January. This is my first channel update since I actually got it up and running. So if you're interested, I do have it linked on my channel. It is there for you to support me. If you want to support me beyond just watching my videos, liking, all that jazz, typical YouTube spiel, you can do it there. I have the tiers set up. I still don't know how I'm going to set up my goals yet. I think how I want to do it. So right now I'm doing 2 Let's Plays at a time, guaranteed. That's how I have it set up currently. And one of those Let's Plays will always be a CRPG of some kind, or a tactical RPG. So like Pillars of Eternity, Divinity Original Sin, Baldur's Gate, Pathfinder, Kingmaker, things like that will always be on my channel. The other one's a variable. I'll play, whatever that I feel like playing for the other Let's Play. So what I'll probably do is if I reach certain goals, I'll guarantee a new genre. Probably picked by the patrons themselves, like, oh, I want to see this guy play first-person shooters. Or maybe after a certain goal, I'll also start doing reviews, like one review for a game that I've covered on my channel previously. Do like one a month. It'll be like a well-scripted, like 20-minute long actual review of the game. I'll actually like dig down into it. It won't be my incoherent ramblings at the end of my Let's Plays that I normally do. It'll be a scripted, well-written review for the game. Again, not 100% on that yet. I'm nowhere near close. I do have one patron already though, so the competition is real. Also, patrons will not get exclusive content. I know some channels like to do that. It's like, oh, you get early access to these videos, or only patrons get to see these videos. I'm not going to do that. I don't think that's fair to the other viewers who can't afford to support me via Patreon. Not Patreon. So if you are supporting me via Patreon, you are supporting the entirety of the channel, and all viewers will benefit from your contributions. Also, money that I make on Patreon would go towards hardware and stuff. Like my hard drive is about to kick the bucket, and that's at least a $50 purchase for a 1 terabyte. It's a 3 terabyte in my computer. It's been It's only like 2 years old, and it is making some awful noises. Yeah, I feel like it's going to go any day now. I do have all my stuff backed up on an external hard drive that I was using for my Xbox One, but I deleted everything on that and hooked it up to my computer just in case. But anyway, I think that's everything. Not too much more to say. Again, I was talked a lot about the Metro Exodus debacle. And then, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to play after I beat Atom RPG or Temple of Elemental Evil. Hopefully, after the Temple of Elemental Evil is done, Pathfinder Kingmakers DLCs will all be out, and I'll revisit that game with all the DLCs included. Also, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I am trying to stream more frequently on Saturdays, sometimes Friday evenings, but not very frequently. But Saturdays, I do try to stream. I'm going to start streaming Kingdom Come Deliverance when all the DLCs are out. I think up to that point, I might start streaming Battletech if y'all are interested in watching that. I've also been streaming a little bit of Sword Coast Legends. Mech Warrior Online, I'm about to get back into that game because it is a blast. So if any of that sounds interesting, be sure to stop by my stream. My Twitch is linked on my YouTube. I have tried streaming on YouTube, but YouTube doesn't like it when I stream on YouTube because I don't have a webcam. It seems to block me from streaming, which I've seen other YouTubers stream without webcam, so I haven't found a workaround yet. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see y'all in the next Let's Play.